Today I want to clean up some of the controllers that we have. Here, let's summarize what we want to do. So the ultimate goal here is be able to create a new space. So this is like the classic controller. You're creating like a new blog post kind of thing, right? You create a post, create space. You pick from one of the pre-made templates. I think that's pretty standard by now. And then you can show a space. It won't be the show path. It will just be, I think, / the slug name, because if people are sharing the URL, I don't think we want them to type too many slashes, or the shorter the URL, the better. Be in an immersive space and enjoy the game. And within there's an edit mode. So I think that's at the same URL. You don't have to, because it's a shared edit, collaborative editing, you should be able to jump into 2D edit mode with it at the same URL. So the option is always available to you. So that's, and then we're going to have a spaces page. So create a community by allowing discoverability of spaces. So this could be the spaces index page. And then we can have /events. We'll have a concept of users. So this is registration, login pages, to be determined later. I don't see a hurry to do this. And then in the future, clubs can, there can be some concept of clubs where users belong to clubs, and spaces can belong to clubs. Not sure yet, so this is to be determined. So let's just, these are for later, so let's just maybe color them kind of gray, maybe. We'll do this later. These are the ones I want to focus, and let's move everything else out of the way that isn't in support of this. So first, we want to be able to create a new space. And we kind of already have something like this. So we have the spaces controller. But I don't want to just call it spaces now, because somebody could create a slug that matches this. So I think every other controller should probably be like spaces index, maybe, just so it has some things in the URL. Let me see. Is that a good idea? Spaces, because if you named your slug spaces, you'd never be able to get to it, because this would match first. Let me think about that for just one moment. Okay, I thought about it, and what I'd want to do is to prevent collisions of namespace like this, everything at the top level here will belong to spaces slugs. And so everything else must be namespace into something else. So if I want to access spaces, I'm going to create a new scope for this. So I'm going to grab everything that's here, except for this, and create another scope. And then this will be for managing things. So I'll just say M EXR web do. Still pipe it through the browser. And add everything else underneath. So all of this will be namespace under M. So spaces should work. Let's see, if I reload this, this now goes to a slug. But if I say M spaces, great, it doesn't match. And so that clears up the name collision. So whenever we're managing something like creating a new spaces, we can create a new space, whatever, and now I have a new space. And now we can create spaces, and when I can delete them, so deleting them should work. That works. Editing their name should work. Okay. Now if I want to show them this, instead of jumping over here, I want to jump over into the slug. So let me edit that. And I'm actually not sure we need all of these things. So these were kind of experiments. So we'll keep spaces, spaces new, maybe even the edit. But we're going to change this, and we're certainly going to remove the edit. So this is going to jump someplace else. So yeah, I think all of this is going to change. So that's the router. If we, oh, live dashboard. I haven't tried this one. What happens if you go to dashboard? So dashboard. Okay, it goes over here. If you're endeavor test, but this matches after this one, so we're gonna need to maybe put this under admin. Admin dashboard. Cool. Metrics, quest longer, applications. Whoa. Processes. Okay. Some stuff it doesn't have access to, maybe. Anyway, not important. Not messing with that right now. Dev. Oh, what is this? Dev mailbox. Pipe through ground forward. Dev mailbox. So I can email. Oh, you can look at emails. Interesting. Anyway, so where is the templates for the space? We are at here. Space show path. Right. We go to the templates. We go into space live, and we look at index. This has a live modal for adding a space. We go to the show. Okay, we're just going to link directly to enter routes, and we're going to go to which path now? Cancel, mix, Phoenix routes. We want to go to, what is this called? This is called the experience path. Socket, and give the space dot slug. And which controller action is it? Is the show. It is the show path. Okay. start the server. Okay, so we could go enter. All right, it jumps directly into that space. Very good. New space, space 2. Create, and I jump into this space. Very good. Do we all start with -s? No. Okay. So does that fill this requirement? Be able to create a new space, picking one of the pre-made templates. Well, we haven't. Okay, let's separate these out. Be able to create a space from pre-made templates. There we go. One part of it done. Let's say that this one is done. Okay. Let's play around with it a little bit more. And now, if we were going to pick from templates, when we click on new space, maybe there's a list of templates we can choose from. And these templates have data that is then copied into the space. Something like that. Show a space, be immersive, and enjoy the game. Show a space. How about let's call this enable immersion. Enable VR immersive. Show a space. We kind of already doing that. That's load the load the URL for a slug. So this one is done. Now this one, we can at least make a picker that they can pick the different templates. Now loading what's in those templates might be a separate thing. Then we have to come up with a data schema for what is in those templates, and can you create templates from other spaces? So it's a discussion about serialization. Okay, and then here can we jump into edit a space mode? Okay, let's take a little break here. Okay, so what I think we want are template spaces. Templates are data. So maybe we can run a kind of generator. Let's do mix Phoenix gen live, and let's call this need some help here. Phoenix live generator. Gen live accounts users. So this will be templates. So I think it's spaces template and templates. The template has a name. It has a description, and it has data, which can be JSON B. I need some help here. Autogenerated JSON B. I will add a JSON B column map. Ecto migration JSON B. What else do I need? So you got a name, description, and you've got data. That might be enough for now. Order types are array, binary, boolean, date, decimal, enum, float, integer, map. Map it is then. Take time, references. Doesn't reference anything. NUID. Okay. Add it. Okay, so now we need to add this into our router. Okay, so let's look at our router again. So we've got the home page and the experience. Everything under M is for managing new spaces, and I think we're going to have an admin section that will be for administrators. And we can put this under here. So we'll say scope, and we'll put it up here and copy it down so I can put it at the top of this. Scope admin the XR web do, and we'll pipe this through browser for now. What does browser do? Browser does all of this stuff. Fish slide. Sure. And we'll paste this. So this is all about managing templates. And let's take a look at our migrations. So it created this migration for templates. Templates, primary key false, ID, name, description. And we can have a default, which can just be an empty map. And we don't want these to be null, so null is false. And probably want unique names. So we can, how do we create that? Here we go, create unique index. Place it after the block. Templates. Name. And then what was created was template live. try it out. X X mix Unix server. Now let's go to localhost admin templates. Pending migrations. Oh yes. Mix ecto micro. Let's just do a reset. What happened here? Unknown default for a map. Okay. Ecto JSON B migration default. Is that what I did? Oh, double quote. Okay. Dash next server. Going to admin templates. Create a new template. Arena. A big arena data. This is invalid. Why is this invalid? Can't be blank. It's invalid. Why is this invalid? Let's take a quick look at the type. Leaks are bases. Template. Can I change that? Cast this, and this. Validate required. Okay. Data is a map. Well, we have to convert a string to a map. Well, that is interesting. Can't be blank. It's invalid. It's a map. Okay. Field data. How does this work? So, ecto map field. Tell me more. Provide some semblance of structure to your JSON. Schema users embeds one embedded schema. User field forms map. So I think when we cast this, we want to convert this to a map. Ecto cast string to map. Cast it and change that into an ecto map field. I have a train set that looks like this. My active schema is following field type foo data is a map. As you can see, base is not a field. That is an active schema. I want to cast base into the data field so that it is a map. Base. Okay. Map split. Required fields, all fields, data, and required fields. Map split the parameters, required fields, allowed and others, then put into allowed data others. Then cast params all fields where data is now that thing, right? This example only works with maps with atom keys. I have to modify it with you might consider specifying anti-map. But open it for now. Whoa, what happened? I want to see what this is. Thing. This. Tell me what this is. Inspect. Don't validate this one yet. I guess I don't need this. Template, this, that. Okay, what happens here? I can't see where this is. I got some stars. Got some stars, okay. Okay, the output of this, actually now changes, the data is invalid. Yeah, okay, and the cast, it's not a map. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be a map. It could just be a string. We're not doing anything specific with the keys. Let's just call this a string. Okay, leave it, let it do its thing. Default can be string of this. And in the migration. For this, we can just say that this is a text after all. Let's do mix to reset. So blah 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 blah. Saves it. Edit this. It doesn't really care what string it is now. Okay. Okay, so we have templates. We probably need a seed function to create at least 3 templates. So where's our seed function? Seed. We don't have one. Create seed file. Data. Private repo seed. By default generates priv repo seeds. There it is. You can run it as this mix. Inside the script, you can read or write any data. We recommend using the ping function or mix run seeds. Let's try this. So alias exr dot spaces dot template, and we'll say go insert template. Create a couple of these. Insert template with the name being arena. I just came back from work. What's up? So I made some changes to management of spaces, your own spaces. So I'll delete this one. So here you can create a new space and it will only ask you for name and description. So I can say my awesome space. Here is my description. And when we save it, you'll see that it is actually saving a slug, which is the, currently it's just appending this and this together, which we might want to change. But if we go to edit, it opens up the same modal, but it shows you the slug where you can change the slug. And it will give you messages if there was a collision. So if we call this ABC, there's ABC. Now I'm saving a new slug, some other slug space. A random slug is generated. But if I change this one to be ABC, hopefully this should give me a conflict. No, it just crashed. So there's some work to be done there. But what I did here was we have this auto-generated live view where the index shows a modal component if live action is new or edit. And this, the modal is activated by this live patch edit or live patch new space, both of which go to space index path, passing in the socket and this parameter here. So those will both render this this component with handle params. So if we go into the index component under handle params, the params will now include a live action. Okay, so from here, this second parameter here is the live action. And the third parameter, I believe, are the params. So when we go to handle params, we get the live action is already in the socket assigned, and the params we're just passing it through. So here we're not using the params under new, but under the edit we are capturing the ID from the space. Oh, sorry, here. Live patch edit space, which is a map or is a struct. So inside the destructuring, that's why the where are we? That's why destructuring the ID part of that struct works. Then this will make an assignment, assign this into the socket, which is fetching the space, or it's a new space. And it renders the this renders the modal when we have a live action, which is set by what now? Live action socket assigned live action. I'm not sure what actually sets live action. That's maybe some kind of apply action. No. Okay, not sure. Yeah, this is the only live action here. Anyway, then this will pass into the form component action. And so in the form component, we can check if action is edit, and that's the only time we feature the slug. Then when this saves, it will submit this form, which is calling the save handle save on the form component. So here we have handle validate, which is called on every keystroke, where here we're just calling spaces change space, and that's just really the edit change set, I think, or new change set. New change set being that it's only validating name and description, which we might want to change depending on what you're doing here. Let me see. Going back to form component. So we're validating space params. Not put action validate. So I think we can have a to-do validate as new or edit based on live action. And then when we save, we're hitting this handle event, which is calling save as space, which is, okay, that's how they did it. They broke it down into an edit version and a new version. So here in the update space, it will call spaces update space, whereas this one calls spaces create space. In the create space, it is calling create random slug if missing. And what does this do? This fetches the fetch field in the chain set for a slug, and if there's nothing, if the chain set is valid, it'll fetch the field for the slug. fetch field returns data in nil, which means I think we just want this here. Why do we have this data key here? Ask a question. Why do we have this data key? It's a question for myself. Put the change there. Name is unused. Okay. Oh, okay. We're fetching the name because we want to append the name to it. Okay. Yeah. But we also want, so let me undo that. Let's put the name back. So we're setting this if it's null, okay. But we don't want any spaces in here. So let's say that name also we want to replace. So how do we do a string replace? Let's do elixir string replace. Subject pattern replacement returns a new string created by replacing occurrences of pattern in subject with replacement. Okay, got this. So you want to pipe this into place. Subject is name. Pattern is regular expression. Pattern, anything that is not A through Z or A through Z or 0 through 9. And the replacement is just a dash and no options. So that's not quite right. Undefined function replace, and this is in which package? This is in the string with a capital S package. Doesn't work. String replace. So let's give this a try. New space. Save that. No, it didn't replace. Didn't work. Delete this. Delete. Delete. Let's try this. So if we have a string that's A, B, C, and we want to do string replace A for anything that's not, oh, that's not elixir reg x sigil. So this way, regex not A through Z. The first means match all strings that start with, so also they contain a non-letter. Let's try this. Contain a non-letter like that. Replace it with a dash. What happened here? Oh, forgot my regular expression. Undefined. Oh yes, what's this? That works. How about also capitals? Or 0 through 9, which means A with numbers or capital letters. So works. Okay, so I think this works. And let's try this again. Great. Got a slug. Edit this to something that I want. And we also need to put back into the change set when there is a collision. So we'll put this in if it's missing. But we'll also want to add, what was it now? So Phoenix, Ecto, change set, duplicate, duplicate record. Error. Constraints. There you go. Yes. Pipe that to unique constraint. So how you do it? Ecto change set unique constraint. Change set in the field or fields is slug. Let's give that a try. So here, let's say we edit this to 1, 2, 3, and we enter a new space, whatever. But now I want to change this into 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 exists. Do I get a warning? No warning, but what was the error? Constraint error when attempting to update the struct. If you would like to stop this constraint violation from raising exception, instead add it as an error to your change set. Please call unique constraint 3 on your change set with the constraint name as an option. Change set has not defined any constraint. Spaces, you see the migration for spaces is unique constraint only on the slug. So, edit this. 1, 2, 3 has already been taken. There we go. 4 lets you do it. Cool. All right. I think that satisfies at least. It's not perfect, but you can create a space and then you can jump into it. So on this enter, we added a link. Let's come back over to the index. So now we have an enter, which takes us to the experience path, and that will just take us into a landing page for some experience. Now we also added templates to be able to pick your templates. We added a seed. We found the seeds file, and here we just have 2 seeds, and so we want to be able to pick these seeds when we're creating a new space to populate the data with this stuff. We haven't really decided quite on the final. There's pros and cons to using XML or JSON, so this is to be determined, but I think in the next video we'll improve our space creator to pick a template, and we'll stop it there.